If you're not a single 30-year-old Christian man, keep scrolling. If you are a single 30-year-old Christian man, where are you guys? Us single Christian 30-year-old women are straight up thinking the Lord might have ran out of husbands.
Finding a woman of God is impossible nowadays, so men are no longer trying. We are now chilling in peace and creating memories with our families. I recommend you women do that too. You don't need us. Your words, not mine.
I can't do it! I can't do it! I can't do it! I can't do it, Lord!
You'll be sitting with your fellow women, and if that isn't enough, you can send the bears an invite to come sit with you in the church.
It's a very real and serious question. Men and women of God in 2025, how are we meeting people? I feel like a lot of people are like, you meet someone at church, friends of a friend. My friends clearly don't have other friends because recommendations have been quiet. I've gone to the same church since I was 12. I'm kind of not in for the apps. Like, to me, that feels like shopping for a person. And then I have to really deeply seek if you are a real follower / believer of Jesus, and then also if I just like you. So yeah, how are we doing that? Where do we find them? Do we go to Whole Foods or something? I'm very much on the trend of he who finds a wife finds a good thing, but where am I supposed to be found? Let me know.
I'm pretty sure you have guys in your DMs, but you're looking for a perfect guy. If you're serious enough, you should check your friend zone. There are good Christian guys there, rotting away.
Okay guys, stay with me. I want to know, why is it that there's so many single women desiring marriage? And I'm speaking about in a Christian environment. In a Christian environment where there's men and women God-fearing, how is it that there's so many women desiring marriage but not as many men? Now, I know women are not the ones that propose to themselves, so the blame is not on women. I just genuinely want to know, what is the issue that as a woman desiring marriage in a Christian environment, what is the issue that you're facing? Because I'm seeing so many high achieving women, and I'm looking around how are you desiring marriage when there should be a litter of men lining up at your door? And now I want to know, is it that the men that are in the churches are not doing it for the women, or is it that the men are not interested and they would rather bring a woman from outside the church inside the church? Or is it that the men are not interested? What is the issue? I want to know, what is the issue that you seem to be facing?
Women have changed a lot in the last 60 years, and the modern woman is not one you can build anything solid with. Simple as that.
The church is keeping Christian women single, and this is why there are so many Christian single women at the church, literally single for years, not getting married, not getting any type of dates, not getting any type of attention. While they are serving at church, they're doing all the right things on paper. They might be in great physical shape. They might have their healing journey all, through and through. They're doing the inner work. They're doing all that. They are focused. They are focused on Christ. They've been focused on Christ for years. They have been doing the things that people have been telling them to do for years, yet they're still single, have no candidates, have nobody looking in their direction. Let me tell you something. The church does not teach Christian women how to date. The church does not teach Christian women to date at all. What they tell us to do is to sit with our hands in our laps and to wait for a man to come at our door. That is not biblically wise. Faith without works is dead, and that applies to every area of our life. If you have a job and you lose that job, are you just going to sit and pray for God to send you a new job and then just stay at home and not apply for a single job? No. If you lose your job, you're going to pray, Lord, please bless me with another job. Of course, there's the faith. But then after that, you're going to go searching for a job. You're going to be applying for jobs, and you're going to pray that God will bless you with the right job. If all you're doing is sitting at home doing 1,000 prayers for your future spouse, you are fasting, you are praying, you're doing all these other things, but you're not actually putting any practical works into dating, more times than not, you are not going to find your spouse.
Looks like Christian men are a hot commodity right now. Now you women have to chase the men if you ever want husbands. And for your question, ask your father figures and uncles why a lot of men are refusing to get married. You'll understand why. We get blamed for everything, so we've stopped going.
Do single men actually go to church on their own, by themselves? Because people tell me all the time, you should go find a good godly man at church. Do you know how hard that is to find? I just went to church this morning, and it's a pretty good sized church. And I just decided for science to look around and just see, is there any single men by themselves, because I never, no matter what church I go to, no matter what denomination, I almost never see single men by themselves going to church. I looked around, I counted like 15 to 20 women who looked like they were by themselves. Or there was a couple other women who looked like it was just them and one other woman. If I counted them, it was like 25 women. I saw one man who was there by himself. But that one man actually gave me hope for a few minutes. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Again, not because I wanted to like meet him or talk to him, but because I was like, hey, some men do go to church like on their own. It wasn't 2 minutes later after I noticed that a woman came up and sat next to him and held his hand. I was like, just kidding. I looked around on the stage. There was multiple men up there on stage. Between the pastors and the singers, every one of them had a ring on. So you tell me, there was tons and tons of single women there. Although I don't really know their relationship status, there was tons of women there on their own. Not a single man that I could find anywhere in the audience that was by himself. Not one. Do single men go to church? I don't understand it. Help me understand.
The church is neither a hookup site nor a dating service. We are there for the Lord, not a next swing. Does that make any sense?
I am starting to believe that the Black church is keeping Black women single. And what I mean by that is, I want to believe in my heart of hearts that when churches have Women's Day, have women's conferences, when you go to these women empowerment, conferences, and they are allowing people to be vulnerable and transparent, and they are sharing how they healed from certain things and how God's word helped them to heal, which is true. I'm trying to figure out why we are almost intentionally leaving out that God's word also says that a man is a woman's covering and a husband is part of, or should be part of, an honorable, godly life. None of that is ever mentioned in a lot of these spaces. There are more women in the church than men.
The root of feminism runs deep, and you Black women continue to entertain it, thinking it will uplift you over men. Can't wait to see how everything will turn out in 2030.
We've been constantly telling our bishop that we have a whole lot of single women in our church because we also have no eligible single men in our church. And he was like, well, do you come to like jurisdictional things and convocation and things like that? Maybe they're there. Baby, I go to my local assembly on Sunday. They're not there. I go to my jurisdictional services. They're still not there. Baby, we went to convocation. They were there with their boyfriends.
The church is usually filled with single moms looking for men to cater for their needs. We've seen how you all are, and we aren't interested.
The Black church's focus is not on building families. It's about keeping women single, comfortable, independent. I said what I said. Just look at the numbers. The church is 70 to 80% single women. And the pastor want to sell these women this fairy tale, telling them that your Boaz is coming. Keep waiting, knowing good and well that there isn't any single men in the congregation. And that's low-key manipulation. Because the men aren't flocking to the churches because the churches are catered to women. The sermons shame men and pamper women. The programs be women brunches, women conferences, women's night. The churches know who paid the tithes. It's the women. So they selling the women these dreams while cashing their checks. And let's be real. The men that are in the churches are either one, already married, gay, or looking for some silly woman to take advantage of. You gotta ask yourself, if the church is really about family, why is it full of single mothers, single women, and empty of men? Because the Black church needs the women single, desperate, and waiting. Because if you had the family that you prayed for, then they wouldn't be able to control you.
Women are in church, single, and still having children. It's totally dysfunctional. When Kevin Samuels said it, you women criticized him for it.
Curious to know from men specifically, like Christian men, what is it about Christian community that makes you guys feel like it's not for you? I feel like there has been a grave, epidemic is a strong word, but I've just been noticing a lot lately how few men there are in Christian spaces that I attend, whether it be at church, whether it be in the young adults group I run, whether it be back in college. There just aren't a lot of men around, and I feel like this is something we always have seen, we've always noticed. The Christian community is made up of 2/3 women, basically, and I never really questioned it until I got into ministry myself and was actually no, where are the men? But I genuinely don't, I'm not a man, so I can't speak to why men might feel like that or what the thing might be, and so I'm just trying to learn. I just want to know, what.
Churches generally don't give practical solutions to problems. Men tend to gravitate towards practical solutions. That's just my opinion. Anyway, that's all for today. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also, click on the notification bell to know when I drop a new video. Bye.